Welcome to the FEC Masterminds Podcast.
Masterminds Podcast. Let's get it.
The ultimate hub for family entertainment center owners and operators to share ideas, find solutions, and grow your facilities. Real operators, real stories. This is the FEC Masterminds Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the Masterminds Podcast. My name is Clint Novak.
And I'm Erik Stottlemyre.
And today we are inviting Chris Camp from Fun Fore All onto the show with us today. Chris, how are you doing?
Good. How are you guys? Good to see you.
Great, man. Great.
Doing well. Now, Chris, we have this Masterminds Podcast, but we also have a Masterminds group of owners and operators that meet once a month. We've been doing it for like 7+ years. And Chris is really like the mastermind behind that. Like, he came to me saying we should start this group, and we rolled it out. We've been going hot and heavy ever since. And so, and Erik is part of the group, so we all kind of know each other because we've been wrapped up in this for such a long time. We got each other through COVID, all the stuff that went through that, and just stealing each other's ideas every week or every month.
That's what it's all
That's
about.
gonna be like the mega theme.
Yeah. I mean, Chris started a holiday mini golf. I stole the idea from him to do holiday mini golf, which was not as successful as his. But then I did a Halloween mini golf, and then Erik and Brent stole that from me. So it's like everybody just steals ideas, and some make it better. And with my holiday mini golf, it was much worse than Chris's. So
I call it R&D, not stealing.
There you go. That's exactly right.
Well, Chris, why don't you start us off? Tell us about yourself and how you got in the industry.
Yeah, so, not like you got, well, I guess, Clint, you kind of fell into it. Erik, you were born into it. I fell into it. I grew up, my dad was a small business owner. He owned 2 supermarkets. And so I grew up in, retail service industry, working for him since I was a kid. And, just watched him and how he grew his business and what he did, serve the community, serve people. I just loved what he did. But, I was not that excited about groceries, and it was just, it's a hard business to be in. And, I got into my 20s and thought I knew more than he did, and said, you know what, I'm going to go out on my own and try something. So I was, at the time, a big golfer, got pretty good at it. And there was a driving range, miniature golf, batting cage place that was for sale in a local town, built back in the 50s. I mean, this thing was old, 40 acres of property. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to pursue my golf career. I might as well go get a driving range. I spent the next 10 years cutting grass and quit golfing because I didn't have any time to golf anymore because I was running a business. But that was kind of my first intro into it. We took the miniature golf course again that was built way back in the 50s and was just overgrown and horrible. And just went in and by hand tore it apart, built our own little holes, and kind of fixed it up a little bit. So as that business started to grow, and again, it was very mom and pop, very small scale. My dad was looking for other ways to expand his business. He heard about this place in Cranberry Township called Fun Fore All. It was existing FEC, and the people that owned it were trying to get rid of it. They built it back in 1996, and they were developers. They didn't know anything about, customer service business or anything like that. Thought, hey, this would be really cool to own one of these things. And then they ran it for a couple of years and realized it wasn't easy and wasn't fun. So they just wanted to get out. It was a fire sale, basically. So my dad saw this and he's like, hey, I mean, it was 8 acres of property on the corner of the main drive, Route 19 in Cranberry Township. And he's like, what if we buy this thing? Somebody's going to come along, offer us a boatload of money. We just flip the land and move on. But in the meantime, will you run it? I was like, okay, sure. Again, I had miniature golf and a driving range. This was go-karts and batting cages and bumper boats and a video arcade. I didn't know any of this stuff. So I said yes, we did it. From the time we had that conversation until we closed on the deal, it was 8 months. So we did zero due diligence. We just jumped in and tackled it. We took over on July 1st of 2000. Again, imagine middle of summer. I walk into this place. I don't even know how to start a go-kart. I didn't know what I was doing. And so we, that first summer, the first 2 summers were probably the longest years of my life. I was married, still married with, we had 3 kids at the time, running both those businesses, no idea what I was doing. But the more time I spent here, the more I realized, this thing might actually have some traction here if we did this right. So we committed to run it for a couple years just to see what would happen. We started to make small investments back into it. I mean, these guys didn't buy anything. They had video games from the 80s and it was the year 2000. So we bought some new games and just kind of cleaned the place up a little bit. Really fixed the staff. The staffing was rough. And then by like year 3 or 4, we're like, you know what? We're in a really great spot. The area's growing, a lot of young families. We're starting to see the reputation turn and business is starting to grow. Let's put some more money into it. So we kept making more investments. And 26 years later, nobody came along and offered me the boatload of money to sell the property.
Wait, that hasn't happened yet, huh?
No, it hasn't happened yet. So so we kept running it. My dad retired 2012, 2013, something like that. And then I got the business at that point. And so that's how I got into it. Again, kind of fell backwards into it, but just, like you guys, just love it. It's the story you told on one of the podcasts, Erik, about your story, just those interactions you see with the guests are just priceless. And sometimes you forget it when you're running, this kid called off, that thing broke down, this, whatever. But it's just those moments you get to see, these memories that people get to make it at your place is pretty cool. So
yeah, kind of like what you've got going on behind you. I mean, this is, you just keep adding and adding, man. It's fantastic. This is great.
One thing that you said, Chris, that kind of resonated with me is when I became GM of Funland, I'd never been a GM before. I barely was a manager. I managed a place for like 3 months before I became a manager. And then, it was that for about a year. And so when I was GM, I would just come in every day and pretend I knew what I was doing every day until eventually I was selling the place. So, it was one of those things.
And my dad was such a great businessman. And, he taught me that as long as you can deal with people, you can do anything. And that's what it was. Like, you come here and you figure out how a go-kart runs and you figure out how to mess with video games and but if you can handle that people aspect on the staffing side of it and on the guest side of it, I mean, you could run any business you want. So that kind of helped free me up to think like, okay, this isn't brain surgery. Like I could probably figure this stuff out. And, over the years, just kept building a good team. And it was a lot. The first few years was a lot. But it's all been worth it for sure.
Do you still have the driving range?
No, we sold that 2005, 2006, something like that. It just, again, it was in a different area, wasn't growing, not great population, and it was just too much to run. And we knew in that business we had to make a big investment if we wanted to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we just saw the potential here and knew that this would just have a much bigger payoff. So we were finally able to sell that and then just made this our main focus. So I got a part of my life back at that.
But when you
stop mowing.
But when you got started, you were still running both businesses for a while. So that had to be even more, the stress had to be unbelievable.
It was really bad. And the other business was okay. We had very low overhead, but it was extremely seasonal because, it's a driving range in miniature golf. So if it rains, you're done. As soon as the winter hits, you're done. So it was struggling to make a profit. And then up here, it was the same boat because the business just wasn't run right and it was barely getting by. And so we're dumping money into this thing, waiting for the cash to come in. And it took a while. It was a lot of stress. And again, I don't even know how. My wife and I will still talk about it, those early years of how did we even do this? How did this even happen? The One of the best stories is I was at the driving range one day and she calls me on the phone because we didn't have any time together. She calls me on the phone to let me know that she was pregnant with our fourth child. I literally dropped the phone laughing because I'm like, this is not humanly possible. We have not seen each other. I mean, obviously we saw each other for
I was gonna say
that happened, but it was just such a whirlwind of crazy. Again, you look back at it now and I don't know how we did it, but it was all worth it. So,
well, tell us about the empire that you have now. What is Fun Fore All? What do you have there? And you've expanded past Fun Fore All as well. So tell us about all of that.
Yeah. I don't know about empire, but okay. So yeah, Fun Fore All. We are an 8-acre FEC, pretty much traditional FEC. We're about 20 minutes north of Pittsburgh. Most of our attractions are outside. So go-kart track, batting cages, spin zone bumper cars. We've got 4 kiddie rides, Zamperla rides. Yeah. We have one hard ride. It's a crazy cars. 2 18-hole miniature golf courses. So that's all the outside. Inside, we've got an arcade, about 70 pieces. And then just 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, we added duck pin bowling. We got 8 lanes of duck pin from Brunswick. And then food and beverages, just quick QSR kind of is how we're set up. So, again, did that in 2000. And yeah, every year, like we had a little kiddie go-kart track, which if anybody has one of those, they know the nightmare that is. That was the first upgrade we made. We put in 4 Zamperla kiddie rides in place of that. We did that almost right out of the gate, 2003. So only a few years after we took over. That was our first big investment. And then, every year we just kept plussing. We did a major overhaul, 2007, to the building, expanded it, turned it into, carpeted. It was all VCT and kind of felt like a big warehouse. So we carpeted it, expanded a little bit, added a bunch of games, added a mini little kids play area. Then we morphed and we added a big giant jungle gym in the middle of the arcade. And then we took out our bumper boats and we put in the crazy cars and bumper cars. So every couple of years we've done some major renovations, but I mean, you kind of have to, you got to stay fresh, you got to stay relevant. And it's been worth it. And then the rest of the empire. So in 2018, right across the main highway from us is a Dairy Queen franchise. It sits on 4 acres of property. We purchased that in 2018. And then there's we purchased another Dairy Queen in 2022. It's about 40 minutes from here, north of here in Butler. We purchased that. That sits on an 1.5 acres of property. So that was I don't know what I'm doing, but just continuing to expand, I guess.
I love to hear you got rid of your bumper boats. I got rid of my bumper boats. Erik, how are you bumper boat free now?
I'm bumper boat free for about 5 years now. It's kick the addiction.
I mean, hey man, if you are above the Mason-Dixon line, bumper boats, I just don't think make much sense.
I always make the joke that whatever GM decides to put something where the bumper boat pool is right now at Funland is going to come into a shock because it's still there. It's just not there.
Yeah.
So they're gonna start digging. They're gonna be like, why is there a pool under here?
Well, yeah. So for us, this was summer of 2019. We made the decision we were getting rid of the bumper boats. We had been saying for the last 5 years, this is the last year. Mm-hmm. Finally, we're like, okay, we're doing this. So we decided to do it. Fall of 2019. We're flush with cash. We're like, you know what? We're not getting a loan. We're just going to cash flow this thing. Let's just do it. So we ended up filling in the pool, doing the whole thing. We purchased the bumper cars from AP, from User Products. We actually bought oh crap, I can't remember the name of it, but it was the bouncy thing, like you're on poles and you're jumping on this trampoline thing.
Oh yeah, like the Euro bungee.
Yeah. But it was from another company, so it was different. So we buy we buy all this thing, and COVID hits. So we blew all of our cash on all this stuff. Like it was like the perfect storm of what the heck were you thinking trying to do this? But again, thank God. And honestly, at the time we had the Dairy Queen, which actually helped us get through COVID because we had a drive through over there and they became essential and we couldn't open here. So we were stealing from there to pay bills here. Like it was nuts.
Wow.
But thankfully we made it through. But yeah, you talk about these expansions and what you're doing, and it's like, yeah, this really makes a lot of sense. And then the world shuts down and you're like, well, maybe this didn't make sense.
Maybe this didn't make sense. Yeah.
We were right after the go-kart track when the world shut down.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. And we had just put in mini bowling. So, we put in mini bowling and opened up our restaurant. And then it was like, wow, really?
Which has also helped me to realize, okay, and you guys probably feel the same way. If we get through that, we can get through anything. Like it was, I don't know that it's going to get much crazier than what that was.
Yeah, your lips to God's ears.
Yep. Right. Yeah.
Well, Erik brought up mini bowling, and that was, one of your most recent expansions at Fun Fore All. What was there before, and what was the reasoning behind going the mini bowling duck pin route?
Yeah, so we had a big jungle gym in the middle of arcade. Our building's very unique. It's they looks like two circus tents, two octagons. The ceiling in the middle is 20 feet high, and it literally looks like a circus tent. So in the arcade, we had this big giant open space. So we put a 17-foot tall cylinder that looked like that was Velocity in the middle of the arcade. We did that back in 2009, and it did great for us. It was a great winter hook for us. We were getting to a point where we knew we had to make an investment into it, freshen it up, and make it look better. And then COVID hit. So during that, obviously, we had it shut down and had to make a decision. Like, okay, are we going to reopen this thing, or are we going to put the money into it to freshen it up? So I'm like, well, let's survey our guests. Let's see what they want. And like the rest of the country at that time, half the people were like, yes, you need to open this. Our kids need a place to play again, blah, blah, blah. And then the other half was like, you're out of your mind if you open this. It's a germ pit. No, I'll never come back again if you open this. And it was literally like 50-50. So, and we had issues with the attraction itself. It was a point of contention. You got kids in there, and who the heck knows what happens? And they come out, and then the parents start fighting with each other. And I mean, it was a challenge for us and our staff as well. So we decided, screw it, we're going to tear this thing down. So we tore it down, and then it was like, okay, the arcade will carry us. That didn't work. Our sales, obviously, just that winter were pretty dismal. So I knew we had to replace it with something. I just didn't know what. So I had been looking around and trying to find something. Duck pin was, becoming more and more of a thing. We had a Pins Mechanical that opened the year before that down in Pittsburgh, and it was just becoming more popular. So went to IAPA, talked to several different manufacturers, talked to a bunch of different operators, and then we landed on Brunswick to transform the other space that we had. So this space initially was we had a XD dark ride in there and about 25 pieces in there, and we use it for like parties and stuff like that. And we said, look, we got an option. We got two options here. We can buy a couple of, and no offense, but we can buy a couple of, Route 66s and just have another couple video games in here, make it look like video games. Or we can go all in and let's make this into a space. And so we did. We went all in. We turned it into a space, which, in hindsight was the best decision we could have made. It's 6 lanes that we have open to the public, and then 2 private lanes, which that's where I'm sitting now in our private suite. And it's been phenomenal. We've done so many parties and group events and corporate things and closeouts and everything. So, which we would not have been able to do with, just adding a couple of lanes in. We partnered with a local brewery. They come in on Fridays and Saturdays and serve their canned beers. That's been a great hit. We've also been able to utilize them for corporate groups. So, there's a corporate party here on a Thursday night. They'll come and serve, and so it was definitely a transformation for us. We've also seen it age up our guests as well too. The Jungle Gym was pre-school, 4, 5, 6-year-old was really in the wintertime. And now we're seeing it age up where, we're seeing everyone from mid-20s, young families, senior citizens. Everyone has been into this. It's gone really well. So it was a big investment, big risk, but for right now, it has paid off. So.
Are you able to give us an idea of how much the overall project costs? I mean, you guys did a lot of work on the room and the space to make it look good. So it's not just dropping mini bowling in.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like it's the middle of the. I'm sitting here trying to envision your building, and I haven't visited your facility, which means we need to do a road trip. But trying to envision how this is laid out, and you said this is more or less in the middle.
No, so. This was an addition that we put on. We put an addition on in 2017, and that's when we added the dark ride and a bunch of games and party space area and everything. When we took out Velocity, we knew we had to do something, but we couldn't find anything that would fit in that space. I looked at those crazy parachute things, simulators, all kind of stuff, and it just nothing made sense. So this space was kind of like, it was okay, but we didn't feel like it was reaching its potential. So we turned that arcade-ish space into this.
So this was what we're looking at right now used to be XD, like an XD dark ride?
Yep, dark ride, pretty much where the lanes are, a little bit smaller. We had a ramp going up the left-hand side that led to a door that went out to our kiddie ride area. We took that out. And this room that I'm sitting in didn't exist. It was all one big open space. So all in, we're about $750 for everything. The lanes were about 400-ish. And then we put in lighting and sound system. We put in these projectors. We have total control over the light, total control of the sound. One of the big events that we did right after we opened was a presentation. It was a company having their 10-year reunion or 10-year anniversary. They came in, we set them up on the duck pin lane. We had a podium. You can kind of see that's what it looked like. We had them, they did their presentation up on the duck pin lane with the projectors behind them, did their PowerPoint. And then at the end, we kind of pushed them out of the room and fed them in the other part of the building while we flipped the room back over. They came back in and bowled. So
brilliant.
Having the ability to do that with the sound and the projection system and the lights that we did was one of the better decisions that we made. It costs a lot to do it, but it's given us a lot more options than what we could have had.
So that's not a digital, that's not an LED board. That's a projector behind there.
Yep.
And it looks really bright too, it's great. The layout looks fantastic. How many people can you seat in there?
So that's debatable, but for that group, it was 200 people. We took all the tables and chairs out and basically set it up like an auditorium kind of thing. And we fit 200 people in that room. Now, normally when we're doing some type of group, 150-ish is pretty comfortable for what we've done. And we set up a little mini buffet in there. We have the bar, the brewery guys here. And then if they're doing a presentation, they usually do it up on the stage. That was a group that we did right around Halloween. It was a company party. They were I think they were 150 we did for them.
So do you guys do all of your own in-house? Are you catering the meals yourselves? Are you guys prepping these, or are you outsourcing that?
No, it's us. We're doing it. Yeah, we anymore some of this food is pretty simple. So we have a basic menu, and then we tell people, like, look, if there's something that you don't see that you want, let us know and we'll see if we can make it work. But yeah, we've been able to do all of it in-house.
Yeah, that's great. And then
Yeah.
you have you said the 2 lanes that you're sitting in right now, Chris,
Mhm.
those are your private lanes. So
Yep.
this is for private parties, birthday parties, things like that. And what do
Yeah.
you use this for predominantly? What
Yeah,
what
obviously
what is
much
the
much
attraction?
smaller space, holds 20 to 25-ish people comfortably. Mainly it's birthday parties. We obviously have an upcharge for it if you want to come in here and do your party, but we have also done um, quite a bit of corporate business in here as well too. Team building where, you got 15 people on your team and you come, uh, we'll have the setup to do the presentation behind you when you do your presentation, and after it's over, we'll feed you and you can stay in here and bowl. So majority of the business has been birthday parties in here, but we've done reunions and Boy Scout, Girl Scout groups meeting in here. So it's been very. I was worried, and it's a little too small. I wish it was a little bit bigger, but it's done well for us for the size that it is. So.
About how many square feet do you have there? Do you know?
Just in this, the whole room is 2,750. Yeah, so this is 900 square feet,
Okay.
800 square feet, maybe.
Yeah, that's great. So these two kind of are adjoining each other, right? There's one right beside each
Yep.
other. Okay.
Yep, exactly. Where those bowling pin decals are up on the right-hand side of the wall, that's the outside wall of the private suite.
Gotcha. So you think that the private suite was a good choice to go ahead and keep that as a separate offering for people?
Yep. Yeah, we debated in the initial plan. We didn't have it. This room has a little bit of an offset to it, and these lanes were going to be at a different set anyway because of the way the building was laid out. And actually, it was my business manager who looked at it, and he's like, "What if we close this off and just made it private?" And I was like, I don't know." Then the more we looked at it and messed around with it, we're like, "You know what? This might work. Let's give it a try." I mean, it was a big try to give, but
Yeah.
we knew we wanted something that was a little bit more intimate, and yeah, it worked. I wish it was another couple hundred square feet, but it works. It's good. It's been good for what we've been using it for.
So what did you do, or what was your primary way of getting the word out? How did you advertise this? How are you getting groups and bringing in, private functions, things like that to your business? And how did you, once you guys had this ready to launch, how did you market it? What was your big push? What was your marketing
Yeah.
push?
So like most of us, we don't do as good a job of marketing as we should. Leading up to it, I was trying to post as much as I could during the process so people could see what we were doing. Just giving updates of them building the lanes and us tearing everything out and all the things that we were doing. That created a little bit of a buzz. Obviously, there was some internal buzz because we had a giant wooden wall closing this whole section off, and people were wondering what was going on. And then we ran a few ads and did a few posts about it once we opened, and it did open soft. I will say that. Like, it was a little scary the first month or two, but as word continued to spread, we just kept seeing every weekend it's ticking up and ticking up and ticking up. And then after we got through our first summer, because obviously summer is our busiest season with the outdoor attractions, people were walking in the door and like, "Whoa, we didn't know you had this. We didn't know you had this." So by that next off season, we were to a point where it's like, okay, this feels right. This is what we thought it was going to be like. So we probably could have done a better job marketing it in the beginning, and I did become more involved in chamber and some other local groups to help try to spread the word a little bit more. That has helped us get some more corporate business and more functions here. So that helped a little bit as well too. But honestly, a lot of it's just been people coming into the park, seeing it, and then coming back and doing it. So.
Great. Yeah, I know somebody else who had a difficult time opening up a go-kart track, and they opened it up to crickets. And then
I've heard a story about that.
Yeah, I did. I hear a
Yeah.
story one time. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's the truth though. I mean, I think we all could do a better job in marketing, and I think that's the silver bullet that we're all trying to figure out is what's going to actually push what we're doing and what, we've got this heart, and you could just tell just by listening to you that you've got a passion for what you're doing, and it's something that you really enjoy, and the creativity and the thought that went into all of this is just, it's self-evident that you enjoy what you're doing. The biggest push, or the biggest problem I think all of us face is how do we affect other people in a way that they understand what we've got? How do we get the word out there? How do we launch something? How do we get it off the ground and say, I'm passionate about this. This is a lot of fun. I believe in it. Come and check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the struggle that I don't know will ever end. And if you really think about it, most businesses, anymore, there are some that they get all this hype on social media before they open, and then boom, they just blow up. But the majority of businesses, you hear the story, like they open it and it's like, where the heck is everybody? And I think that's just a normal thing, because we're all creatures of habit. And it's like, no, I go to the same coffee shop every day for the last 15 years. I don't want to try a new coffee shop. And then all of a sudden everybody's talking about it. So then, all right, I'll try it. So I don't know. And I mean, Clint's story is a perfect example. Like, I mean, that go-kart track is
Epic.
The beast is incredible.
Yeah.
And you would think they'd be lined up down the road the day it opened, but all of a sudden the guy starts talking about it on the radio, and boom, next thing you know, it takes off. So
Yeah.
I think it's just that age-old challenge. I think social media and influencers have made it easier. You get in with the right person and they can help do it for you. That makes a difference. But I don't know that challenge ever goes away. I really don't.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it kind of shifts. Clint's doing the same thing, I'm sure, with his businesses. It's like just making sure that you're always out there. You're always in the customer's eye. You're always in
And
the
it's harder.
forefront.
It's harder when you realize how, and because you got everything into it, so you're so excited about it, you're so passionate about it. And look, I could tell you my baby's the most beautiful baby in the world, and you're gonna look at my baby and be like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, well,
But it's getting them in here and getting them to experience it and then feel what is already here. It just takes time.
so
We're running a little short on time, but I did want to talk a little bit about your holiday golf overlay that you guys do for mini golf, since it's such a unique thing, and people have tried to copycat it and were unsuccessful. And so,
You were
just give
smart.
us a brief overview of what it is and how you guys came. It's been how many seasons you've been doing it, and the choices you made along that route.
Yeah, so I think 8 years, I think, is what we've done. Again, just trying to do something in the off season that would help us. I saw a place, and I feel terrible that I don't remember. It was a place out in Utah that was doing it, and I was like, I mean, this looks really cool. And I mean, they did it top notch. Like, it was impressive. And I was like, okay, let's try this. So first year in, we didn't know what we were doing, so we hired a company to come in and do it. Oh my God, dude, we spent so much money and it was horrible. Like, we had such little participation. And then at the end, when it was over, the guys came and took all their stuff and we had nothing. And I was like, this was the worst idea ever. This is so stupid. Then we're like, okay, wait, we think we can really do this, but let's buy the stuff ourselves. That way we got it forever. And then let's just continue to grow this thing. So, and we've had some really great years, the winters that are kind to us, and we don't get a lot of snow, and you get the random 60-degree weekends. It's fantastic. It does amazing. But, the last 2 winters have been terrible. Negative 20 and snow, and we're shoveling off snow on the week. Like, it's tough. But it's like the lottery. You just keep playing, and sooner or later you're going to hit. And it's become enough of a tradition to people around here that they make it their annual thing to come out and do. So it is a labor of love, I will say. When we're out there hanging these lights and or taking them down, it's a lot, but it's worth it. So, but you got to commit. Like, we had to commit. We had to just say, look, we're either doing this or we're not doing it. And I was nutty enough to say, let's just do it. And we did it. And
What's your setup? What's your setup time on something like that, Chris? How long is it taking you to put something like that together? Because I mean, we did Shadrack's Christmas Wonderland, and it took us like 2 months to set up, and it was just like you. It was like maddening.
We start the day after Labor Day,
Okay.
and now I don't say that's like a team of 20 people. We got a couple of our high school kids that are start wrapping trees and start hanging lights and start doing stuff, and then it's inch by inch. And our goal is we usually open that weekend before Thanksgiving. And usually the day before we open, we're still finishing plugging stuff in and trying to make sure it works. So yeah, it's good and it's bad. It's become enough of a tradition that people enjoy it, but if the weather stinks, they're still not coming. It doesn't matter. And you still have to hang all the lights and still have to take them all down. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'd recommend anyone doing it because it is a lot. And we do it as a we partner with a local charity and we give 10% back to them as well too. It's called the Caring Place, and that's been great too because we let their families come here one night and just have the place to themselves and get to do everything. And so it's nice to be able to have an impact. We've helped raise in the course of us doing this like 70 grand for them, just through admissions and sponsorships and stuff like that. So that's part of it too, but that also helps bring in some more business as well. So
Awesome.
Hold on, I got one question for him.
Go ahead. Dude, first of all, let me just say this was my goal. Because it's got to be a 30-minute podcast. I wanted it to go longer, just to like.
It's always going to be longer than 30 minutes.
Super interesting. So we're 7 minutes and 19 seconds through. But I got one last question for you.
I want to make Clint twitch a little bit. That's all.
One last question for you. Well, I have a problem shutting up, so he'll tell you that. So my question is, what's next? So Chris Camp and his team have come up with these awesome things. What's in the pipeline, dude? I know that some things we think about, they just don't come to fruition, but just, is there a teaser there? Something that you're like thinking about?
I think, Clint, how you and I first met was the go-kart track, right? Isn't that how we met?
Yeah. I was touring facilities and stopped by you. Well, I think it was the roller coaster actually, because you guys had a roller coaster, and I was like, I'm a roller coaster enthusiast. I got to stop by and ride this thing.
We just have a Zamperla Fiesta Express little kiddie coaster. So, but that's how it started. I went down and saw their track right after they built it, and I'm like, we got to do this. I have all the plans done, ready to go, and COVID hit, and then the price went up 3 times of what it was before COVID. So. Ultimately, that's what I want to do. I want to build a multi-level. I don't know if that's next because of the price tag on this thing now, but something we'll put in a family coaster, or we will do a track upgrade, something like that will probably be next. We needed to do this to help our winter business, to help our off season become at least flatlined and not losing money. And so the next plus will be something for the outside for the summertime, but.
When we opened the go-kart track, even in our best year with the go-kart track, the SBF spin coaster still beat the go-kart track in popularity and the amount of people who rode it. So, crazy.
And that price tag is a lot lower. So I know.
Yeah. Well, it's lower than your mini bowling. I think it's sitting around 500,000. So
exactly.
6,
yeah.
So again, it's trying to keep an eye on what's happening and what's new and what's exciting, and riding the wave when you can. But I mean, we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue to keep plussing and keep growing. So.
Well, I think we all need to road trip back up to New York and check out the castle, because they did it all in house, man.
We didn't get to ride it, so
brother. I know we didn't even get to ride a thing. So, Chris, you got to go up. We got to do a road trip.
But Chris, I'm telling you right now, if he says he has to pick up go-karts, just say no, because that is the craziest, roughest ride all the way home. I was just like, whoa.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna take the F450, but we'll take something else.
Hey,
I'll just meet you guys there.
We'll have to hang out and check out Chris's place. I've been there 4 or 5 times, but Erik, we got to get you up there.
Yeah, man, so. I'm ready.
All right, Chris, thank you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in and chat with us and let other owners, operators know what you're going through, what you've done, and wish you success and hopefully you'll get that go-kart track. So because it's crazy. So, all right.
Well, I appreciate
if
it,
you guys,
Thank
if
you.
you're no problem. If you're interested in joining the FEC Masterminds podcast, all you have to do is give me an email at clintnovak@gmail.com. And we'd love to have you on and feature you and hear your story. So for Chris and Erik, my name is Clint, and we'll see you guys in the next adventure. Bye.